Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is November 10th of 2024. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears the CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage an escalating series of attacks, bombings, and terror events on the date of November 11th or the morning of November 12th. In the United States, Europe, or elsewhere around the world, specifically to spawn a second global biological pandemic and or trigger World War III. Excuse me. So exactly what type of attacks are planned is obviously not known, but November 11th in the United States is Veterans Day. So attacks by veterans, likely featuring a coup d'etat targeting the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C., which will subsequently be scapegoated onto China, Iran, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan-backed terrorists, is expected. Also, attacks targeting veterans, U.S. military bases in the United States is expected, most likely blamed on the aforementioned countries, which will be is specifically designed to trigger an escalating international crisis designed to trigger World War III. November 11th is also Armistice Day, a holiday in New Zealand, France, Belgium, and Serbia. So Russian-backed attacks or Iran-backed attacks targeting those countries is expected. November 11th is also Remembrance Day in Australia, Canada, England, and the Greater United Kingdom. So Chinese, Iran, Russian-backed attacks, Islamic terror attacks targeting those countries is expected, possibly targeting their military. And November 11th is also Independence Day in Poland, so some sort of Russian-backed attack or political assassinations targeting Poland, Warsaw, namely, is expected possibly via the 1,700 82nd Airborne troops currently stationed in Janoskwa, Poland, which is located outside of Warsaw. So November 11th in the United States is obviously designed to celebrate veterans, and so President Joseph R. Biden will likely be going to Arlington Cemetery to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unnamed soldier or whatever. And so some sort of an assassination event targeting Biden is expected, and this may be scapegoated onto Victor Bout, who was exchanged for WNBA star Brittany Griner in a prisoner exchange with Vladimir Putin a few years ago. Trump is also going to be doing some November 11th Veterans Day festivities. I was unable to locate where he will be in attendance to mark this holiday event. So at the time of making this video, I wasn't able to identify where he will be, most likely in Florida. So some sort of an assassination attack or terror event targeting Donald J. Trump is expected. Also, in Europe, Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is going to be likely visiting Normandy, France, where the D-Day operation to liberate France was staged, and so some sort of an assassination event targeting Macron is likely expected and is likely going to be Russian in nature. Excuse me. So essentially what the CIA wants to do is start in Europe or the Middle East and then work their way to America with an escalating wave, which, although other countries like Iran and Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and China could be scapegoated, this impending November 11th through November 12th is likely going to be Russian in nature, which is why the media is all talking about the red wave. Obviously, they're talking that in respect to Trump landsliding the election, but the red wave is going to be Russian in nature. And the plot for this day has been laid many years ago, back on August 31st of 2021. A Coast Protection Group Commando, this is the Russian-backed Afghan forces in Afghanistan, was found at a hotel in Manchester, England, and this is designed to show that Putin is going to send troops into Europe to commit terror attacks, which I'll get into in a second. A year prior, roughly on June 26 of 2020, the New York Times published a report entitled Russia secretly offered Afghan militants to kill U.S. troops. So what they're planning on doing is saying that Russian-backed Islamic terrorists from Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, ISIS, or Iran are attacking U.S. troops, and this is obviously designed to take the United States to World War III with Russia. And so exactly what type of attacks are planned is obviously not known, but back on October 23rd of 1983, the CIA staged an Islamic truck bombing attack targeting U.S. military barracks in Beirut, Lebanon, and so some sort of redux attack may be in order. So between November 11th and November 12th, the CIA is going to stage 9/11 style attacks, conventional bombing attacks, mass shootings, VBIED, that's vehicle-borne improvised explosive device bombing attacks, as car bombs, truck bombs, van bombs, suicide bombings, rocket attacks, missile attacks, possibly ICBM in nature. We currently have two. We have Boeing Starliner, and then we have SpaceX Starship that are currently hovering in lower Earth orbit, and they're going to come down under the guise of a Russian nuclear attack. As I mentioned earlier, political assassination. So the CIA is likely going to sniper a bunch of heads of state or high-ranking politicians or military personnel in Europe or the United States on this particular date. There's also the possibility that the CIA will stage alleged Russian torpedo attacks targeting U.S. ships, military bases, ports, or air bases, or other drone attacks or airplane-related or drone-related airstrikes or bombing attacks targeting U.S. military bases. It's imperative to note that the impending attacks slated for November 11th through November 12th will predictably be biological, chemical, gas, dirty bomb, nuclear, novel airborne virus. That means a new virus that can transmit through the air. Radiological or weaponized contagions such as anthrax, Ebola, or smallpox. It will predictably be one of those, because what the CIA is trying to do is escalate the ongoing wars, the Russo-Ukrainian war, the Israel-Hamas war, the Israel-Hezbollah war, the Syrian civil war, and the Yemeni civil war to the next level so that they can trigger World War III. And coincidentally, we have Operation Dynamic Front is coincidentally going on right now at multiple locations in Finland. This is 30 nations that are getting ready for World War III with Russia, and all they're waiting for is the event to happen. And then these two countries are going to be off to the races. Obviously, that cannot be allowed to happen. So obviously, the countries hosting the aforementioned 5 wars that are ongoing are the most likely to suffer attack after the United States in Europe. But there's U.S. military bases around the world that will likely be targeted by the CIA under the guise of a Chinese, Iranian, Pakistani, Russian, or North Korean or Saudi Arabian-backed attack, including but not limited to Bahrain, Belgium, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Egypt, Djibouti, Germany, Greece, Estonia, Israel, Iceland, Italy, Iraq, Japan, Jordan, Kenya, Kosovo, Kuwait, Lithuania, the Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Qatar, South Korea, Singapore, Syria, Spain, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, and Ukraine. So just to recap, the CIA is planning on triggering World War III on the date of November 11th through the date of November 12th. Most likely, and these attacks are most likely going to happen on Sunday night in the United States during Sunday Night Football, and or during Monday Night Football on the 11th, which would be the 12th in Europe and Asia. So these attacks are going to happen while the American populace is watching their favorite sport of American football, and then shit's going to hit the fan, essentially. And the CIA is trying to abort the Trump presidency by staging foreign attacks, invasions, and wars around the world to basically to put the United States on a DEFCON level footing, so that to hijack the presidency before Donald Trump can be sworn in, So they're going to try to start wars to do an end around on the Trump administration. Obviously, that cannot be allowed to happen. So if the CIA stages any sort of attacks or terror events on the date of November 11th or November 12th, on these holidays that all these different countries are celebrating, and or taking out one or two heads of state to try to trigger World War III, I kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, state, or local, national, and international media outlets. Peace.